in HD. Live, local, late breaking. This is WMBF News at 5:30.
And there are structures that have been totally destroyed, and there are structures that have been severely damaged.
They are the images burned into our minds.
We just saw a huge wall of flame in the backyard.
The words we'll never forget.
Didn't dream it was gonna be this bad.
Nightmares that became real.
The only thing we have left is a tin cup.
6 months after the fire started burning, the Horry County wildfire is still sitting fresh in the minds of many who watched as the flames tore through their communities.
And thanks for joining us for WMBF News at 5:30, your only source for local news at 5:30. I'm Michael Maley.
And I'm Carrie O'Hara. Well, it was 6 months ago today, on April 22nd, that sparks ignited the Horry County wildfire. It burned for almost a month before tearing through nearly 20,000 acres of land before crews were finally able to get it under control. 96 homes were damaged, 76 were destroyed. And many of the families that were affected are still in the rebuilding process. So tonight we're checking in with one of them to see how far they've come. WMBF News reporter Chandy Laurie is live in the studio tonight with one story. Chandy?
Well, Carrie, it's been 6 months since the wildfire, and some families are just beginning their new lives in their brand new homes. Amber Broussard moved back into her home in the Barefoot community last week. Everything is new, but she keeps old newspaper clippings and important papers that burned in the fire laminated as a reminder of the blaze. She's now thankful that her brick house is standing because 6 months ago it burned to the ground. She tells me she was inside of the house when the fire erupted around her neighborhood. Amber and her boyfriend grabbed the 2 dogs and drove to safety. While she's slowly rebuilding her home and her life, Amber tells me when you lose so much, it takes time to replace even the smallest things.
You'll realize little things that you don't have anymore. You'll say, oh, let me just go ahead and get the scissors so I can cut. Oh, you know what? I don't have a pair of scissors anymore. It's things like that.
Amber says it's been a long process to have her home rebuilt, but she was able to flip this negative situation into a positive one. I'll tell you how she did that at 6 o'clock. Live in the studio, I'm Chandy Laurie for WMBF News.
Jenny, thank you. Those families, of course, weren't the only ones impacted by the wildfire. The emergency workers who fought to put out the blaze also have lasting memories of that fire. It's an event that left an impression on the departments that came together to deal with the flames, as well as the one that has changed the way that they handle emergencies like this one. Our live team coverage of the 6-month anniversary of the wildfires continues now with WMBF News reporter AJ Ross. She's live at Barefoot Resort in North Myrtle Beach, one of the areas, of course, hit hardest by the wildfire. And AJ, what kind of lessons have they learned there?
Well, Michael, firefighters and emergency responders say they're always looking at ways that they can do their job better, and the wildfire taught them many lessons. They say one of the lessons was how to communicate better between departments, also how to alert people better in communities like this one that they may be in danger, and last but not least, how to handle the unexpected. The Horry County wildfire took everyone by surprise, but some of the first responders on the scene say they learned a lot from the experience. Both the North Myrtle Beach Fire Department and Horry County Fire and Rescue say they have been working closely with the South Carolina Forestry Commission since the fire happened. They say they've been going through special training sessions with wildfire experts so they can be both better prepared and equipped.
We're starting a second class through their organization, which will involve a day of actual going out into the woods and fighting fire on a practical basis with them.
And here in North Myrtle Beach, they say fire officials say they're also using a new alert system so people in communities like this one will be alerted by phone or computer if they're in danger. And coming up on WMBF News at 6, I'll have more from some of these first responders and some of the untold stories they say happened on the front lines. Live in the Barefoot community in North Myrtle Beach, I'm AJ Ross, WMBF News.
AJ, thank you. The man fined for the brush fire some believe rekindled into the Horry County wildfire will head to court next week. We've got video now to show you of Mark Torchy's property in Horry County. This was shot back in April, just days after that fire started. Now, he says he called Horry County Fire Rescue when a fire there got out of control, and he believes fire crews had fully put it out. Now he's saying he's being unfairly blamed. The South Carolina Forestry Commission says Torchy will head to trial Wednesday morning. He could be forced to pay more than $700 in fines.
If you haven't already, get out there and enjoy it. Take a look at that that shot Looking out over the forest over Myrtle Beach, bright blue sky, some wispy white clouds. It was a gorgeous day out there, but unfortunately, it won't be sticking around. Storm Team meteorologist Rob Hatchell has the latest details. Hey, Rob.
Hey, guys. Well, hey, you've had quite a bit of time to enjoy all of this wonderful weather, but things are changing, as Carrie mentioned, and it starts with this big monster of a system you see back off to the west. Now, it's a long way away right now, but by Saturday, this front will be making its way through our area, and that's going to bring us some chances of rain. In the meantime, things nice and quiet, and we've got a few clouds out and about, but still some blue skies. WMBF Storm Team Doppler radar still looking okay. No problems out there whatsoever. We have some nice warm numbers out there as well. Upper 70s, a couple of 80s here and there, but Surfside 73, 76 in Murrells Inlet, with 77 from Atlantic Beach to Conway, Aner, and into Loris. Heading through this evening, partly cloudy, mild, near 70 degrees. We got a warm night tonight. Another warm day tomorrow. Before that rain gets here, we'll let you know exactly when you can expect the wet stuff in your Storm Team forecast ahead.
Rob, thank you. Family members and Shaw Air Force personnel came together to honor the pilot who went missing after F-16 collided with another jet last week. Captain Nicholas Giglio's body hasn't been found, but he is believed to have died in that crash. Today's service included the posting of the colors, a roll call, followed by playing of taps, and an F-16 flyover. The other pilot involved in that crash was able to safely land.
New at 5:30, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office says they have a Pembroke woman in custody for the shooting and killing of a man inside a home. Willa Carol Wariax is charged with voluntary manslaughter. Deputies say Tuesday night she shot Woody Cummings at a home on North Chicken Road. He died a few hours later, according to the Robinsonian newspaper. Officials say the shooting followed a fight, and it appears that Wariax had been drinking.
Well, from speed demons to road rage, police officers really see it all out there.
They sure do, and now we get to too. Come along for this week's Speed Patrol as we hit the roads with the Myrtle Beach Police Department.
Also, we're taking a look over the 17 bypass right now, where traffic really doesn't look too bad, maybe a little worse southbound than northbound, but Bob Bradley has the bird's eye view for all the traffic out there. We're going to check in with him coming up next.
And it's the attack of the giant seagull. You saw that right, and you'll see more coming up. Find out what's really going on behind this news anchor later on WMBF News at 5:30.
Now, WMBF News Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Rob Hatchell.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. The trend here this week has been the warming numbers, but what also is going up are the rain chances as we go into the next several days. So get ready for some wet weather after all this great weather that we've seen here as of late. But let's talk about the temperatures first. Before we get into that stuff, we'll talk about some of those morning lows that have actually been coming up all week long. And we've got 40s out there right now, or excuse me, this morning when you woke up and headed out and about. 50 Myrtle Beach, 46 Conway, 45 in Marion. Now remember, early this week we actually started out in the 30s. Now the afternoon highs, they have been great all week, but they've also been rising close to the 80-degree mark. Darlington actually did manage to make it up into the 81 this afternoon. 79 Florence, Lake City, Marion. This is upper 70s here from Dillon to Bennettsville and Lumberton. All right, let's talk about that wet weather out there. It's not going to look like this forever. We can't expect that, that's for sure. Another beautiful one out there, but we do have some rain coming here very soon. Here's the satellite radar across the Carolinas. You see a few more clouds out there. As we zoom out, you see a lot of clouds and a lot of wet weather too back in the Mississippi Valley. This is our next system coming our way. A lot of cold air on the north side of this. Unfortunately, that's going to stay off to the north. But the wet weather, it will be coming our way. We've got a lot of moisture already starting to surge into the area. Just no rainfall yet. We got to recover from a very dry atmosphere that's been giving us all this wonderful weather here as of late. But by tomorrow, we'll at least have a few chances in place here as this high starts to move off and we see that southerly flow set up into Friday morning. Just clouds starting out, but then a few isolated storms start to pop up here through the course of the afternoon. But the big chance of rain will be with the front itself as it comes in on Saturday. This is Saturday 10 a.m. The rain starting to make its way here across the PD, the border belt, and then it slides in throughout the course of the afternoon here across the Grand Strand as well. A couple strong storms certainly are possible, but I think most of the heavy action will be well off to the north. Beaches 65, inland 63. This is when you wake up. A much different story than what we saw earlier this week. Some patchy fog with that mild start here across the Grand Strand. We've got numbers around 80 degrees from Myrtle Beach to Surfside and Murrells Inlet. The clouds on the increase throughout the course of the day, and certainly an isolated, only isolated thunderstorm is possible in the afternoon hours. The better chances come Saturday. Inland locations, same way. The clouds on the increase. Highs of around 80 degrees from Florence to Marion and Dillon, and also into Bennettsville. Your WMBF Storm Team 7-day beach forecast. 60% chances heading into Saturday. Upper 70s for highs. We do cool off a little bit heading into Sunday. We also clear out. As we make our way into early next week, we have mid-70s for afternoon highs, low 70s by Tuesday. That's a little tropical moisture trying to come our way here, and that'll offer us a few chances of rain and keep us a little bit on the cooler side in the mid-70s. Inland locations here, Darlington, Lumberton, Conway, Hartsville, and Marion. Chances to increase by Saturday. I think that's the first half of the day for the most part, especially for the inland locations. And then by Saturday evening, things looking pretty good, actually. Then we start to cool off heading into Sunday. A lot of sunshine heading into Sunday afternoon, even though the cooler numbers will be around. Monday, same way with those middle 70s. By Tuesday, we're going to reintroduce some more chances of rain at 40% with a little tropical moisture trying to come our way. It may not reach its way that far inland, but we'll continue to watch that and probably tweak that forecast a little bit as we get a little closer. Mid-70s heading into midweek as well next week with some more rain chances. Guys?
Looks like the good hair days are far over for us.
They might be done for now. Let's head over now to the WMBF News Traffic Center.
Bob Bradley is live there with an update on your drive at 5. Hey, Bob.
Good afternoon, and traffic staying busy on the roadways of the Grand Strand. You see the backups right around Carolina Forest Boulevard, also slow at Singleton Ridge Road. We've got a brand new injury accident in Myrtle Beach, 48th Avenue North and Kings Highway. Several cars involved. We've got emergency crews and police out there now, and getting reports of a new accident on Highway 501 Church Street in Conway, right near Conway Ford. So that could slow your trip down through Conway. Might want to use Main Street instead. In the PD, a couple of accidents now. We've got one on eastbound I-20 in Darlington County, right around mile marker 127. Accident in Dillon County involving injuries on northbound I-95 at mile marker 182. And one accident clearing up in Florence Irby Street at Freedom Boulevard. This is Bob Bradley reporting live from the WMBF News Traffic Center.
Bob, thanks. This week we're bringing you a special edition of WMBF News Speed Patrol. Recently, we got to ride along with Myrtle Beach Police Sergeant John Bertang as he clocked drivers out there on 17 bypass. He also let us in on a lot of misconceptions surrounding speeding.
A lot of times when we pull people over, they say, well, I thought you can go 5 or 10 over without being stopped by the police. I didn't think that you had to use your turn signal all the time. Sometimes people say, well, we could speed up to pass a car and go over the posted speed limit. So there's all sorts of things that we hear that we address.
I think I've heard all those. To learn more about the myths and other ones that drivers have, log on to WMBFnews.com and look for this story under the News tab. And while you're there, make sure you send us a Speed Patrol request. You can find that link on our homepage. Just fill out the form and click Submit to let us know where drivers are going too fast.
Well, the countdown to Election Day is on.
Tonight, hear from Gary Montgomery Stevens and why he wants to be the next mayor of North Myrtle Beach.
Also, it's a YouTube hit in the making. We're going to explain how this seagull stole the spotlight during a local newscast. You're going to see him there coming up.
And remember, WMBF News always wants to know about the stories that are important to you. To email your story ideas, send them to news@WMBFnews.com or give us a call, 843-839-7935.